Hello, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Leah.
And we would like to thank you for listening to the Reasonably Prepared podcast,
a preparedness resource for the complete beginner.
We are here to help you on your preparedness journey
without the paranoia, fear, and doomsday often associated with preparedness.
If you find our podcast helpful, please subscribe and leave a comment letting us know. And now, on to the show. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to another episode of Reasonably Prepared.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome.
We're glad you're here.
Man, I keep slurping loud in the microphone. I don't mean to do that. Was that loud in the microphone? Anyway, awesome. Good morning. We are glad you're here and listening to Reasonably Prepared, and we want to thank you for doing so. I'm Joshua. Across from me is my awesome wife, Leah.
Good morning.
Awesome. And I'm tired today. I had a long day yesterday.
Yeah, you did.
With hunting and everything. I'm going to have another long day today, which is awesome. Man, I'm tired, though. So, I say we jump in for the listening enjoyment.
All right. Yeah, this is your show. You're running the show today.
So first things first, I want to talk about the awesomeness of Reasonably Prepared merchandise, stuffs, swag, right? Swag. And if you want to be prepared and want to look good doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was awesome. Wasn't it? Right off the top of my head. If you want to be prepared and look good doing it, then take your little mousey mouse and scroll over the search bar into your favorite, what are they? Web browser. Type in reasonablyprepared.com and you will see all the cool hoodies and t-shirts we have available for purchase that I think they're awesome anyway. I'm wearing mine around proudly, getting good compliments on them as well.
Yeah, you have.
Exactly. So reasonablyprepared.com, we're going to keep adding more shirts and stuff. Stickers, I'm getting lots of requests for mugs, so everyone let know that mugs are in the works.
You don't have any here to show our viewing audience on YouTube.
No, on YouTube I don't. This commercial's more for the podcasters.
Okay.
But for you YouTubers, and we will put a link in the description below of how to get there to purchase said, outerwear. To purchase said outerwear, and I'm still learning how to do commercials and advertisements and things like that. But anyway, we're going to keep adding to it. We have a lot more ideas, and our most popular shirt by far so far is the Prepared Does Not Equal Paranoid Nerdy Math Equation, which people really like that one a lot. I did not know it was going to be the hit that it is, but hey, awesome. Fire in a bottle right there.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so today we are going to discuss something still fresh on our minds from unfolding events over the last few weeks, and that is home security.
Yes.
Home security.
I mean, you don't ever really want to think about that, but isn't that part of being reasonably prepared?
It is. Sometimes
it's the stuff you really don't want to think about.
Sometimes people will attack the conversation, if you will, or they'll start the conversation kind of like the life insurance old school life insurance salesman, where it's like death, doom, what if, burr, burr, burr. But the reality is, what if?
Yeah.
I mean, and so I have kind of a list to put together just to talk with you about, and for our listeners, and it's by no means exhaustive, number one, and number two, it's in no particular order, because as we're continuing to fortify our own home, get our own home secure or safer or whatever it is you want to call it, I've realized that, a lot of the things on these lists that you can do they overlap, say, from country to suburban to urban. But if you're in the country or you're in a suburban environment, urban environment, the priorities change. Right? We operated so much differently when we lived in the country. I mean, we still locked our doors, but the priority of it was less than some other priorities, right?
Right.
And so it's in no particular order. So pick and choose how you prioritize what I'm talking about. And what I'm trying to bring to the table are inexpensive, easy things that people can do. And when I say inexpensive and I say easy, I understand that that's relative also. What I think
Right.
is simple, you might think is very difficult, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. And when I say inexpensive, everything on my list, if you're savvy enough, could be done probably for under, I'd say around $500,
Okay.
give or take
Yeah.
$100 or $200, but certainly less than 1,000. And I'm talking, whole home. A lot of it's just practical, simple things that don't cost any money at all.
Mm-hmm.
But of the things that do cost money or that you can purchase and install, I'd say if I were to add it all up, depending on the size of your home, probably around $500. Because some things you're already going to do and have, and if you don't, then it's just that some of the things, like curtains are a basic part of your home, right? So I'm not saying you're going to rush out and go re-outfit your entire house with blinds as part of this cost, because most people already have them, right? So
Right. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm understanding cost is relative, and understanding quote unquote being easy is relative, but I think all of these things are reasonably simple, and most anybody can tackle them. So, and for anything we talk about or that I bring up or we discuss that is purchasable on Amazon, in the link in the description below. On YouTube, I'm still learning how to do it on the podcast side. We have affiliate links, so I have to disclose this too. Now we are set up to do affiliate sales, affiliate market, which means if you click on the link underneath to purchase something, yes, we get a commission on it. It helps the channel out. It helps us out. I've been trying to reinvest back into this channel for information. Nobody we talk about on the list are sponsors. I will be bringing up a home security system that we purchased called Simply Safe. They're not a sponsor, but if you want to be Simply Safe, reach out to us. reasonableprepared@gmail.com. reasonableprepared@gmail. I want to talk to you about sponsorship and all kinds of stuff because I do like your product. Anyway, so there'll be links in the description below that you can go purchase anything. And if you purchase through those links, then yeah, anything you purchase there, we do get a small commission on, and it helps out the channel a bunch. So without further ado, the number one simplest thing on my list that I think it's the simplest, and I did start here with number one, and that is, and I'm terrible at this. I'm really bad at this. And your brother, the army guy, like really corrected me when we lived out in Oak Run. And that is the importance of making sure your doors and windows are locked. Period. Sometimes
Yeah.
even when you're home, as I've been researching more and more security, I don't know what the percentages are, but a lot of people actually experience break-ins during the day when they're home. And so you're not wanting to live in fear and get yourself shut in like a hermit. But if there are doors and windows you're not using, just keep them locked.
Right.
We've got a side door we pretty much just keep locked all the time.
Yeah. We keep that door locked.
Because if there's no reason, if it's not, you're not actively coming in and out. And I've watched several videos like In the Mind of a Thief and In the Mind of a Criminal, and interview with an ex-thief turned security expert. I'm no security expert, but I try to find information out from those guys.
Right.
And they say the front door is the easiest entry point. A lot of times people just open the front door for them, or they'll pose as a salesman, and they're looking around your house while you're talking. So just keep the front door locked if you're not just actively going in and out. Most people go in and out of their garage or in and out of the back door anyway.
Yeah.
So keeping your windows and doors locked is the cheapest. It's free, and it just makes you aware of what's in your home. And I bring it up also because we had a break-in. For those of you guys who don't know this, and we can talk to you. Go listen to our last episode, or we did an episode on mental fortitude, spiritual fortitude. But we were gone on a camping trip, family camping trip, and we had somebody broke into our home. They ransacked it. It was a mess. They took a lot of our stuff and put it outside, staging it to get rid of it. They broke some windows. But it turns out that the entryway, the way they got in, was an overlooked, unlocked window that they just opened up and got in.
Yeah. They never actually got in through the broken windows because
No. They broke them
they broke them actually because they were mad. One of the one of them was yelling at the other and was mad because the other wasn't letting them in.
And they smashed
So
the
they
window
smashed
out
the
of anger.
windows.
I don't understand what people are doing
But-
sometimes.
But I mean,
And we're
you
pretty
know,
certain they were. We're pretty certain they were. Well, the police officers, they were drug addicts. They said it was an unusual break-in. But yeah, they gained access through an overlooked,
yeah,
unlocked
they just
window in the
didn't
back.
realize
Yeah,
that window was not locked.
where it was dark. So, it's good to just check them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, unless you physically put your hands on it, you can't trust that. For instance, I can't just assume that because you shut the window, you locked it.
Right.
Right? Like if you opened the window to let fresh air in or something of that nature, I can't just assume that, oh, well, Leah shut it, so it's locked.
Mm-hmm.
No, so what I've been doing since we moved into the city while I'm home is before I go to bed, I just do a round. I do a round downstairs, and I check all the door locks, and I just check everything and just make sure, yep, done.
Mm-hmm.
I just make sure they're locked. I mostly do the doors because I assumed the windows were, but now I've been double checking windows as well. Because, heck, you never know.
Yeah.
Especially if you're
really
gone
don't.
for a long time. We were gone for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it was an opportunity or if someone cased the house first. They say people do case the house. If you can just see into your home and they like what you've got, then they'll case it, wait for you to be gone, and strike. I don't know if this happened that way because we never caught them and we can't interview the people.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, keep your windows and deadbolts. That's another one. Always make sure you're using the deadbolt, not just the little lock on the door handle.
Oh, yeah.
I know when we lived in the country, I didn't lock anything. I mean,
I did.
My keys stayed in the ignition of my Jeep.
Yes. Well,
and it was a Jeep.
yeah, but we're talking we're not just talking about us living in the country, though. You were like that when I knew you, and we lived in downtown Houston, which is
and I did have a lot
probably
of crap stolen
why
from me.
you had a lot of stuff stolen from you all the time.
Yeah, which I said I led off with. I'm really bad at this because I get in motion and I don't like things stopping me. And if doors and things are locked and I just want to go through, I get really, really agitated. It disrupts my mental flow if I have to stop, get keys, unlock. I just want to go. I'm not saying it's the right response or it's the right thing to do, but it does.
It's not.
Irritate me.
I'm just letting you know.
I know, but
it's not.
but it does irritate me.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm getting better at it, especially now living in the city. It has become a higher priority for me. And so, and then in keeping your doors locked, I found this neat item in researching, and it's called the security night lock security system. It's called Night Lock, and it's really cool. It's a base plate. See that right here, base plate that you screw into the floor, and then this just slides in and out. You put it right in front of your door. So it doesn't trip you up. It's just flat against the floor, like right in front of your door.
Okay.
And then you slide this steel plate in when you want to lock the door at night or when you're gone, right in front of it. And it makes, you can't open the door, even if you break the locks. It stops the door. It's like $40.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's low profile when you don't have the plate installed. And if you do have it installed, you want it there anyway, so it's not like it's getting in the way.
Right.
It's called, once again, security. It's called the Night Lock security system. I'll put a link in the description below. It's $39.99 on Amazon, and it's like 4.5 stars out of a bunch of reviews. And I saw it on a couple different security videos. I was like, well, that's a really cool idea. Especially if you're home. Or if you're, even if you're not home, one of your doors inevitably will not have it, right? The one you exit through. But if everything else does, it's just less appealing for a criminal, or it's just more difficult to get that door open.
Oh, right. I see. Because you can't lock it if you're on the other side of the door.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's super, super duper cool. Another tip too is to always remember, if you've got sliding doors, is to install a stop on the backside of your sliding door, or just go get a piece of wood and put it on the floor behind the door. I know that's an old trick and a lot of people don't, but there may be people who don't know it. And that's a almost free way to keep your sliding doors locked. Because most of doing the research, I say most of a lot of all the ones I watched, and I have read quite a few books on. I say quite a few, 1, 2, 3 of them, like Guns, Crime, and Freedom, and things of that nature on how criminals are responding, and they interview criminals and they interview convicted criminals in jail and prison to find out, well, what were you thinking? And most of them don't want to smash the windows to get into a place. They want easy access. They're looking for reasonably or the easiest one. So a lot of what we'll talk about, and I've discussed with you, is just making your house less attractive, quote unquote, to a criminal, or less appealing.
Yeah, like if they want to get in there, they really have to work for it.
They either
You've
have
got to
to
make them like really work for it, or, which probably segues into another point that you have. You want them to be unsure of what's in your house and if it's even worth trying to break in.
Right. Because one in particular was really good. And I even saw it on some other channels as well. It's entitled "The Mind of a Thief," and he was discussing, something we already have, like the big, pretty glass doors in the more well-to-do neighborhood, or I say well-to-do, just the doors that are the front entry doors that you can see through, and you got the house and you can see completely all the way through to the back. He's like, I love those. We love those because we can literally tell, looking through those, if someone's home or not, and we can see all your stuff.
Yeah.
And if there's any window at all that we can see through, we can see your stuff. He's like, so like literally curtains just are that one extra psychological, I don't know, because we can't see in, and then we question. So we'll most likely move on to another house that looks like an easier, more convenient target. It's the same thing with, locking your car doors. There are dudes or there are people who will literally just walk down the rows of cars just nonchalantly pulling on the handle, and if one opens, boom.
Yeah.
They're pulling out what's inside, change.
Now, this is hard for me because I like my big doors, and I like that they are open and they're glass and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And it lets all the light in. And so I don't really see, okay, this is where you and I have not conflicting, but there's a little bit of tension because
I'm working on convincing you of the importance of
you're looking at our home and everything from purely a home security point of view.
Not
now,
purely, yeah.
Well, almost.
Yeah.
But with a heavy emphasis on home security, and I'm looking at our home as like, yeah, but we live here, and I want it to look good.
Sure,
and I want it to be pretty, and I don't want our house to look like a fort.
No, I don't want you to have a house that looks like a fort. I don't want you to. But
I'm just imagining, like eventually the razor wire fence outside.
If you want me, if you want me to put razor wire out front,
the sirens with the searchlights.
That would be
the little turret
ridiculous
with the machine gun.
So we're all that's ready for the zombie apocalypse style.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay. Yes.
I've got electric fence all the way around the house with Constantine wire.
And I'm like, can I just put up some Christmas lights?
Sure, yeah, for sure. Well, so long as the Christmas lights are booty trapped.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So if they touch them, they get electrocuted. Yeah, that's what we want. Yes, we have the pretty glass doors, but they were already on there once. I can see the marks left over from the previous owners, but we could put decorative accordion style nice curtains that go up and down on them. So that all the, and you can get those for inexpensive. You go all the way up to the top, and then they're just at the top. So from the outside, generally looking, it looks clean and nice and pretty. But then when we go to bed, pull the blinds.
Or we leave.
Or
whatever.
People can't see in. Right?
Yeah.
So
I understand.
Yeah, the importance of making it so that people can't just see directly through your home anytime, all the time, however they want. Right? So that's another security level. If you're going to be locking your windows and doors, also, segueing into cover your windows. Make your house just less attractive to a criminal. If you've got nice stuff inside, of course, and they can see right in. It's like we just watched Home Alone. Yeah, it's a comedy, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Who's looking at the prettiest house? you know.
They had curtains on their windows, though.
They did. Well, yeah, and Kevin was, using that to his advantage,
Yeah.
which was awesome. So there you go. Even on their big, pretty doors. Okay, so, and the last part about locked doors is make sure your garage door is locked. So if you go away on a long trip, a lot of people don't know this, but most garage doors have little levers on either side that just slide and lock it, so the door can't be open. If your garage door is closed, most mechanical garage doors, if your garage door is closed, the little handle that's hanging there, that's actually not that difficult to access from outside the garage. You can just take a long coat hanger wire, grab it, and then unlock it, and you can just open the door. But if you're going to go away on a longer trip, 4 days, a few days, they just have a little sliding lever. You just slide them on either side, and it slides right into the frame. If your garage door doesn't have that, another quick, easy fix is most garage door frames have little holes around them, or you can drill a hole, and you can literally just put a lock or just something in the way that blocks the wheel from getting up in the track.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, but most garage doors.
That seems like, I'm just trying to imagine someone putting a long, thin wire. You'd have to have a ladder.
Possibly.
Where you climb up on a ladder so that you can get to the top, through the top of the garage door, to reach in and grab that little thing that hangs down is pretty far in there.
Not when the door's closed. 2 feet away.
Oh, I thought it was more like maybe 5 or 6 feet.
Maybe on some. It's just an idea. I came across it. We've never had a break-in that way. I've never even seen one.
No.
But I saw a couple of YouTube videos where it's like, hey, this is actually easier to access than people think. Regardless, it's something that gets overlooked, but an access point for criminals is.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm not saying don't lock your garage door. I'm just.
And you just slide the locks, and go.
Yeah.
Because
that makes sense.
There were all these different, very specific niche style scenarios where it's like, well, make sure your car doors are locked in your driveway, because it's really easy, if not, for a criminal to grab your garage door opener, and then later on while you're gone, they open your garage door, right? You can just lock it. You don't have to worry about that. It won't open or close.
Right.
So, garage doors get overlooked. Keep them locked. Even when we were out in the country, we would lock the garage door that went from the garage into the house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, absolutely.
That would get deadbolted as well. So, locked doors. Okay, segueing next to doors is going to be reinforcing the doors that you have now. Is actually, and do a couple of YouTube searches. What you can do, and I did this in our old home. And I will be doing it in this one. Of course, we've only been in here for a little while. We're getting to work on lots of different things. It's one of the things on my list. And that is all of your door hinges and the little plates where your deadbolt go into on the door frame side, and where your door handle goes to on the door frame side. The screws in those things are only 1/2 inch long, maybe 3/4 of an inch at most. And it said that it only takes most doors, front doors, back doors, 1 to 2 swift kicks to break them open. Okay, because the door frame itself is not reinforced enough. It's just, it's not. So what I've done is I will remove all of those shorter 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch screws, drill a pilot hole, and replace them with 3-inch screws. Okay, and what happens is those 3-inch screws penetrate deeper into the door frame, because your door frame is built in layers, right? It's a frame and then another piece of wood, and it backs up to another, to a header, and then 2x4s, so it's got these different layers, and you want to kind of penetrate to get all the way to the framing of the house. I don't know if the 3-inch goes quite that far, but at least goes far enough to reinforce the hinge side of the door and then the lock side of the door. So replacing them with good long 3.5 inch screws, they say adds hundreds of foot-pounds to the door. So we're talking the difference between 1 to 2 swift kicks and like 6 swift kicks. It's not a foolproof. It's not a permanent. What I'm saying is,
but you're going back to the idea of just making it harder.
Right, exactly. And if you are home, that buys you some extra time to get out of the way, to call 911, to arm yourself if you need to, if someone's trying to actively break in your home while you're there. If you're not home, they're just working harder.
Yeah, which hopefully would mean that they'd be more worn out by the time.
Yeah, and they're making more noise.
Yeah.
And so, one kick to two kicks, a neighbor might go, what the heck was that? Someone just actively trying to kick in your door? I mean,
I have this mental picture of just, some person, and they're just like throwing themselves.
like what's his name in? He's getting away in Princess Bride, and Nico Montoya, and
he's throwing himself against the door.
He's getting away. Pheasant, help me! He's getting away, and he's just smacking against the door. Old Andre the Giant comes over and just punches it down. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't. It's not a fix that's going to be it's not Fort Knox style. You're not making a safe door, but what you are doing is adding enough infrastructure to the outside of the door to make it more difficult to kick in or get into, either A, just hopefully deterring, or B, buying you enough time to, once again, call 911, arm yourself, get yourself situated, get your family to a safe place inside the home, realize what's going on. And so you can go around and reinforce, all of those. And then they also make window reinforcers as well that you can put on your window, and that kind of like just the old school little locks.
Oh yeah.
I know I made a noise and people listening don't know what I'm talking about. But I don't know, bathroom stall locks or something. They do make those. I didn't research those as much because once again, most people aren't trying to kick in a window. They just want to see if the window opens.
Right.
And the window locks are typically, I think, probably fine. But they do make extra reinforcement locks. So that kind of goes down the list of making sure your house is locked up.
Right.
In different Doors, variations.
Windows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
visually,
we talked about visually locking it up, quote unquote.
Yeah. And
with curtains and blinds.
My Uncle Wally and my ma always talked about if blinds not being closed when the sun starts going down. I mean, you might not know this, but they call it living in a fishbowl. I still use the term, you're living in a fishbowl. If the outside is darker than the inside, then you can just see in.
Oh yeah. You can see in.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
You're basically a stage. Mm-hmm. You're a well-lit stage at that point. And I don't know if there are any people who don't have an understanding of that. Just know that if your curtains are open and it's dark outside and it's light on the inside of your house, you're basically a well-lit stage.
So if that's what you're going for,
cool. Yeah.
Then now you know.
If you want people to see you and everything inside your home from the street, then live in a fishbowl. You know. But if you don't, draw the blinds. Don't live in a fishbowl, especially once again at night. It makes it super easy. So there's locking up your home. The next I want to talk about is, and with COVID, this has made it more challenging because, one, I'm so social and I like talking and hanging out with people and knowing everybody, but a lot of people are wary, and I want to have grace for that. Even though I may personally not be as, you say, worried or wary, I still want to have grace and honor for someone else and what it is they think or feel or believe are going through, right? Well, because of that, we moved in to this house basically at the onset of when COVID hit, essentially.
Yeah, all the lockdowns started and everything.
And lots of people got very nervous very fast. And what we didn't do was we didn't go around and meet all our neighbors.
No.
At all.
Well, we had one neighbor that kind of was across the street on the side who, after a couple of months, she came over and introduced herself.
Yeah.
From a very respectable distance.
Right.
And brought us some goodies, some treats to eat.
Yeah.
Which was really, really sweet. It was super sweet. But yeah, we didn't actually meet anybody else
until after the break-in. I forced the issue,
and after this break-in we actually made it a point. We went around, we were like, we really don't care now. We're going to every single house.
I didn't care as in so as I was talking with all of them said the same thing. Oh my, we've been wanting to come over. We saw that you moved in. We wanted to talk to you, but with COVID we didn't want to intrude, and we were afraid to blah blah blah, or we didn't want to, or everybody they were so unsettled to know what to do. But the importance of knowing your neighbors,
Right.
your immediate neighbors and your greater neighborhood at large,
Right.
is utterly important. Well, it's important really in life. It's something that's getting lost in our societies right now, and that is having good, strong communities that they say in the city, it's some ridiculous percentage. Like, I mean, I don't know what the percentage are. I don't want to completely just make it up, but they're high. Like, most people don't even know their immediate neighbor.
Yeah, that's not unusual. It's
Right.
definitely not unusual.
It's not
I think the
unusual.
more people you live, like the bigger the city and the more people that you are surrounded with, the less likely you are to know your neighbors. I
Right.
think that's a true statement.
Right. And it's important to at least have some cursory relationship with your neighbor, even if it's just, hey, I'm Tom. Hey, I'm Bob. Hey, Bob. I'll tell you what, just to know the person. Well, number one. Number two, be a good neighbor. The better neighbor you are, the more people are going to want to help and serve one another. So, actively be a good neighbor, Keep your yard clean. Don't be a jerk. Don't yell. Try to serve, give, do fun things, make your house pretty, whatever it is that
if
is
you
being
are
a good
courteous,
neighborly.
yes, if you're courteous to the neighbors around you, then you're going to have a good reputation with your neighbors. And when something happens, like you said, they're going to be more likely to want to come to your aid.
For sure. In fact, one of the common themes among our neighbors after this happened was, so our house before we bought it was a rental house. And it was owned by some missionaries, and the type of rental house it was these missionaries would help out maybe less fortunate people within the church, or people getting back on their feet. Some of them might have been ex-drug addicts or something of that nature, kind of halfway house style,
Almost,
where
yeah.
they would where they would rent to people within their church that needed help. Right?
Yeah,
that needed
that
help.
needed
They were doing good things, inexpensive. We found out what one guy was renting the apartment for in the back, and I mean it was next to nothing.
Yeah.
And so a couple of the neighbors were like, I didn't know if you guys moved out. I didn't know what was going on.
None of them realized that we had bought the house.
Right.
None of them knew that.
Right.
They thought that we were just
Maybe
another line of renters,
Yeah.
or, maybe some family that needed help.
Right.
And we happened to be living there for the time. And
Well, except for our immediate neighbor right here, immediately next to us, who was the one who ended up calling the police.
oh, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
because
know,
I did
we
talk
had
with him,
introduced ourselves.
When we first moved in, had a long conversation. But yeah, none of the neighbors knew that we purchased the house, and a couple of them were like, well, we didn't know if you moved away, and maybe some new people had come in, and they were just yelling, and we didn't know
Right.
because they didn't know us.
Right.
Typically, I know everybody. You know me.
Yeah, that's a true statement.
Yeah, I typically, in a typical, regular normal, not new normal or whatever, not in this time period for sure, I would have already introduced myself, and I would have probably thrown a party for everybody on the block already. I've been grilling food or something. I would have already known everybody. But once again, people are hermiting themselves up, and it's making it a bit more challenging. And so the importance of at least knowing your neighbors and being a good neighbor is huge. So I forced the issue. I went around to every single one of the houses on this block, introduced myself, got the names and numbers of my neighbors, said thank you for being a neighbor. Everybody was apologetic, let them know, out of respect for them too. Hey, there was a break-in on your road. I want you to know.
Right. So you can take whatever necessary precautions you need to take.
Yeah, so be on alert. Let's watch our road together. And everyone was on board. And I'm even now, meeting neighbors 1 or 2 blocks over who are feeling the same way, because our area is still kind of stuck
It's up and coming.
Yeah.
It's up and coming.
We're
but
buying
there's
affordable
still,
homes, but they're getting more expensive.
Well, I don't know what the price of them has to do with it. It's just the neighborhood is.
Well, it's a difference between this
People are
neighborhood was
buying older
Yes.
homes that were rentals and were really run down, and that people were abusing. They're buying them, they're fixing them up, and they're
Yes.
living in them.
And yes, so
And
the difference
so the
between renting and private
neighborhood-
property ownership.
Yeah, the neighborhood is turning around, and it's really there's nothing wrong with renting, by the way.
No.
But the neighborhood is turning around but it's still in that process of turning.
Right.
And so we get questionable people every now and then, especially because we live near a park. And so there's questionable people that come back and forth. And
Right.
if I see them, I always make it a point to make eye contact with them.
I say hello.
I say hello.
I wave. Super polite.
And very, very polite, but letting them know that I'm here and I see you.
You know, I worked retail for a long time. Right. Lots and lots of retail. And I did, and what you learn in retail, shrink is a big problem, or theft, things being stolen are a real problem. And the biggest, easiest deterrent from having people steal stuff in your store is to go talk to them.
Yeah.
Literally. Say hello, make eye contact, let them know that you see them, and not, I mean, all you got to do is smile and wave, boy. Like, that's all you got to do, smile and wave. You got to let them acknowledge that you know they're there, and that's enough for them to be like, all right, well, they see me.
Yeah, I'm not hiding. I'm not like, I'm not invisible like I
Right.
would like to be.
Right, and so when we see,
Well, we try to say hi to everybody, even whether they look questionable or not.
right, and I say,
But if you make it a general rule, just to be friendly, to make eye contact with people, to say, hi, how are
Yeah,
you
how are
doing?
you doing?
Good morning.
I've
even
even-
just a good morning.
it's given me, just
Hi,
doing
how
that
are
too
you?
has given me the opportunity. There was a gentleman who was an obviously homeless gentleman, and on a bike with a basket, and so I just said, hi, how are you, like I do with everybody, and he's like, oh, I'd be better, some like, I'm not doing that great comment. And it afforded me the opportunity to actually be like, well, hold on, sir. What's your, and introduce myself. I got to go down, got to pray for him, and turns out he was just like, hey, I do you know where I can get some milk? Because I got a whole bunch of cereal from, it was like some like halfway house or something. It was something they gave him like boxes and boxes of cereal, but didn't have any milk. And he's like, I just wanted some milk so I can eat some of this cereal. And I was like, well, here's $6. That's all I got on me. Get yourself some milk, man. I don't even. And then I came in and you're like, well, we have milk. You should just give them our milk. And I'm like, well, I didn't think about it in the moment, but it afforded me the opportunity to talk with them and pray with them, and that all that does is make you a nicer person, if you will, in the neighborhood.
A nicer neighbor.
Yeah, nicer neighbor.
Yeah.
So, and when we say we live next to a park, like our backyard's basically the city park. So that's a whole nother set of security challenges in and of itself.
Yes.
Considering they broke in through a window in the back, connected to the park, that was dark.
Right.
Right. And so know your neighbors to some degree, get to know it, and be a good neighbor. Okay. And so that'll lead into the next thing. We'll talk about being backed up against a park, or even if you're not against a park, and that is having dark areas
Around your house. Yeah.
Right. And you don't. I'm looking now, and I showed you some last night. I've showed you before. These super bright LED motion sensor lights are so inexpensive now. I mean,
They're much cheaper than I thought they were. I thought they were going to be a lot more than that, and they're not.
No,
I mean, you can get packs of 3 or 4 for $20.
Yes.
It's really inexpensive.
With warranties, with warranties and everything. And they install with a screw, literally a single screw, and
they're solar,
and they're
so
solar
you don't
powered.
have to worry about.
Yeah, and you were asking, a lot of them have on-off switches. You can turn them on, turn them off.
Oh, good.
Some do.
Good.
But even
yeah.
still, we have a couple motion sensor lights right now, and when people are over, we don't. It doesn't bother us, especially this one back here.
No, but where you're talking about, okay, and this is where it goes back to the clash of home security and decor.
Oh, right.
And this is, if I'm having an event outside where we have our fire pit going and people are out in the backyard, the last thing I want are these blinding LED lights on the back of the house that keep coming on every time somebody moves outside.
Understood.
So
many of them
So had to have that on-off function.
Not all of them.
Would be really useful.
Not all of them do, but many of them do. But I see what you're saying, because if we're just out there at the fire pit, hanging around, having a good time, somebody gets up, it's like, oh, God, it's on again.
Right.
But I want people to feel like that if
ruining
they're trying
ambiance.
the dilemma is I want people to feel like that if they're trying to be sneaky.
Right. Yes, I do want them to feel like that. I want them to feel like they got punched in the face by light.
I say punch in the eyeballs. Oh,
Yes.
It's like getting punched in the eyes by light. These lights are not expensive. anywhere from, like you said, several of them for $20 to $50. For $50, you could probably put one on each wall of your house if you got 4 walls on each side of your house, or less. I saw packs
less
of
than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, depending on which one you buy, there's there's a whole. I mean, there's a Amazon search. There's a slew of them.
There are some that look really industrial and, fort-ish.
Yeah.
But there are also some that they look nice.
They're decorative. They're nice,
decorative. Yeah. They don't look so much like a compound.
And I'm noticing that some of them also look like there are several of them LED ones, high intensity LED ones, and they look like cameras. So they look like there's a little camera in the middle and then a ring of lights on the outside. They literally look like a video camera.
Oh, okay. So it could be like a visual deterrent as well.
Right, exactly. And so having a well-lit house, and what you want are the lights to go from your house out, not like from your yard to the front of the house. Okay, so
oh yeah.
You don't want to spotlight your house. You want a floodlight from your house.
The yard.
Yeah, you want to light up from the house out to the yard, not like from the yard facing the house, because then that creates a dead spot behind the light that you can't see if you are home. Okay, I'm sure there are other reasons why you don't want to do that, but also then you just have lights in the middle of your yard. I don't understand that, but so you from the house out, and you want to light up the yard that way. If they're running, you got plenty of time to see them.
True. Yes.
So yeah, motion sensor lights, solar powered, inexpensive, really easy to, like I said, one screw. And they're a good idea to have because nobody wants to be seen when they're being sneaky.
No.
Keep going to go down the list here. Okay. So I just found this out a while back as well. And that is, well, number one, we'll go into security systems, but you don't actually have to have a security system to have a psychological visual barrier. You can actually just go on Amazon and all of the major companies sell their signs.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so you can buy the ADT sign. You can buy the Simply Safe sign. You can buy the, name brand X, Brinks, name brand X security sign, and then just put the sticker on the windows or sign, and they're like $8.
Yeah.
So it's super cheap way to make people
there.
Think you might have.
Or at least question.
Right.
Well, do they?
Right, exactly.
Do they? I don't know.
And speaking of, so we'll go into the security system side in a moment, but same thing. So I'm going to say signage in general, right? Signage is very cheap, easy to get, beware of dog sign. Even if you don't have a dog, they call it the faux dog. Right? Yeah, I'm not joking. I watched a video a while back, a couple, and they're like, it's the faux dog or the pretend dog or the fake dog or the perceived dog, and that is, there are people, I don't know if I would do this, I'm going to be honest.
I don't know if I'd do this either.
Well, I mean, I got no problems putting a beware of dog sign like on the fence or something like that, right? But there are people who will put water bowls and food bowls like they own a dog, and they don't own a dog, so it looks like they own a dog.
Huh. I feel like that could be a deterrent some of the time, but I don't think it would take very long, especially if someone is casing your house,
right?
To figure out that you don't have a dog.
I agree, 100% agree. But and that'll move into, so you can signages on your home just as hey. You can go once again to Amazon and you can get the signs that say security, 24-hour security surveillance. You can get the company
Smile,
signs.
You're on camera.
Smile, you're on camera. We had a friend who had a sign that said, if you can read this, you're in range.
Yes.
And so that was out on country property as well. I thought that was amusing. And once again, beware of dog signs. Any number of signs that you could put on your fence, put on your door, put on your window, put anywhere that say, hey, you might not want to enter here because there could be a problem.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Another one, actually, my brother's next door neighbor has a sign out front, this home protected by Smith & Wesson.
There you go.
Right?
Right.
And I don't want to get shot, so, I'm not breaking into a house. Of course, I'm not a criminal either. But anyway, so there are lots of different signage you can get. They're passive. They're cheap. They're just another layer that, and once again, I have a full understanding. I'm not, beating this drum hard, say with you, because we also want our home to look nice. We don't want to just have a bunch of signs hanging around everywhere without any real purpose. I
I've got like
understand
10
that.
signs on the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
No one wants to come over when I'm trying to have one of my mom's groups, and the new moms are like, I'm not coming to your
There's
house.
signs everywhere. Is there a camera in every room?
I'm like, no, really, come in for tea and cookies. Like, no way.
Yeah. So there you have it. Signage is good too. Awesome. So in line with that, let's talk about home security systems, the actual physical security system, arguably the most expensive part of this, next to, say, owning a dog.
Yeah, I guess long term,
Right.
a dog is definitely more expensive. Yeah.
Right. But the most expensive part of all this is going to be actually outfitting your home with an actual security system. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And doing the research on, number one, modern home security. So you've got lots of different home security systems. My grandfather in his house when we were young, he went and got a siren. I don't know where he got it. Like, it was like a firehouse siren, like one of those really loud, can hear it around the neighborhood
Is
sirens.
that the one that they used to try to wake you up when you were a teenager?
Yeah, same one.
Okay.
Same one. And he put it in his living room behind the TV set, and then just had a single motion trip on his front door. And I don't know how he did it. Of course, he was a smart man. I can ask my dad how he did it, how he set it up. I mean, this was in the 80s and 90s. It was this loud ass siren. It was so loud. It was so loud. And with a trip on his front door, so that when he would lock the front door, it would set it. And when he opened it, it had a delay of like 30 seconds, so he could just I think it was like a light switch, and it would turn it off.
Okay.
But if it went off, us kids,
Woe to those who were inside the house and anywhere in the block.
we would stay outside because there wasn't sometimes it would go off, and it was so loud. So if you want to Jimmy rig or engineer something for your home like that, but truth is, security systems are actually have gotten so inexpensive, and the monitoring has gotten so inexpensive that it is affordable for most anybody, depending on how you prioritize your money. And by that I mean, if you're a person who likes drinking Starbucks every day, maybe don't drink Starbucks every day and have a home security system. You know what I mean? It literally, it's cheaper than that, right? Mm-hmm. And so what we went with Simply Safe for quite a few different reasons. But as I was researching these, the slightly older style from like the 80s and 90s and beyond and into now, the style where the company comes out, they install it in your home permanently, and then you pay them $100 a month, and it's this,
and you've got the little TV screens with all the little.
well, even if you don't have that, just with the motion sensors, there's a permanent install that basically you rent the security, and you pay them for the service to be connected to the police and things of that nature, and they're like $100 a month, $80 to $100 a month, and then you've got this security system that you kind of own, but it's a permanent install in your home.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Those days, well, those companies still exist and they're still selling
Well, the
things.
companies do, but
But-
that model is
And the
going
criminals
the way of
actually
the
like those
dinosaur.
systems because they use phone lines. Basically, the older style phone line, hardwired ones are easy to bypass. They're easier, we'll say, to bypass. They can just cut the phone line, they cut the cord, and it's enough time passes from the time the security system knows what's going on and the police know what's going on before that they've already gone through your entire home. Okay? What they don't like, many of them talk about they don't like, are the newer wireless ones. The ones that everything's wireless. Okay? Because even if, let's say you got an inexpensive or a cheap wireless one and it has corks, criminals don't know that. All they know is they can't cut a wire, and they don't know where that signal's going to. Is it going to your phone? Is it going to your computer? Is it going to all of them? Is it recording them right now to the cloud? Most of them are. And so they basically steer clear of the new modern wireless ones. I did a video.
Unless, of course, you're talking about like cyber hackers.
Yeah, that's a whole different
kinds of
story.
things. That is a whole different story.
talking about
But we're just talking about your
general
average Joe criminal.
opportunistic
Yeah.
thief, criminal, or someone who might be casing your home for your goodies, right?
Yeah.
But cyber hackers, cyber criminals, I'm not even addressing that at this point. That's a whole different thing that I still need to educate myself on. I spend such a little amount of time on a computer anyway. Doesn't really matter. I do almost, you know what I mean? My online presence is smaller compared to most, but, well, with the exception of all the stuff I'm doing now at Reason Repair. But the wireless
So
systems.
it's not.
Well, I don't bank online. I don't do it. You know, I don't put my password or I don't put my social security.
I do. So, because we're married, that by default means you do.
Okay, awesome. Then we'll have to do some more educating ourselves. Cybersecurity, this is home security.
Okay. Sorry
there we
about
go.
that.
All right. But the wireless ones, home security systems, and I did a review. A friend of ours put in what's called a Reolink system. It's another wireless camera that he put out on his gate and on his home, that everything goes right into his computer and his phone. It's all wireless, and it has a long range, and it has a solar power battery on it. And I want to say it was like a couple of $100.
Oh, cool.
Like $150. And he installed them. He said the picture quality is great. They have little SD cards on them, so they can record right into the camera, and that gets sent out to. But what those are do-it-yourself home security systems that are not connected to any company that does monitoring.
Oh, okay. They don't come with monitoring.
They don't have any monitoring. They're literally just the camera side of it, right?
Okay.
And you can buy the home security devices as well without monitoring from like Simply Safe and from other companies. And on Amazon, there's cheaper ones. So the door open, close, and you can build yourself a small in-home security system minus the monitoring.
Okay.
Right? You can do that. We opted to go with that end monitoring because the monitoring, like they had monitoring package that started at like $5 a month. Right? They had their middle grade was like 15, and their most expensive like 24-hour, you're awesome, safe, direct tie to the cops kind of a thing. And I mean that is a bit of a more loaded discussion about betting your life on a security system. No, it's a warning. It's supposed to put you on alert, get you to understand.
Yeah, no, I'm not betting my life on a security system,
right?
Or on the police,
or on because
showing up. But
because there's this old adage, it's saying that I've used many times. It's when it's the seconds between life and death, it's comforting to know the police are only minutes away, right? There's a gap between what's happening in your home immediately.
Well, and we were very aware of this when we lived out in the country.
Absolutely.
Because we were like, okay, if something happens out here, it's going to take 30 to 45 minutes. If the police left immediately after our phone call, it's going to take them 30 minutes to get here.
Because we had friends who were law enforcement. Actually, we had friends who were...
And they don't.
They were sheriff deputies in our area.
The second that you call.
No, they don't.
So that's good 45 minutes at least, possibly an hour before they actually arrive. And that, a lot can happen in 30 minutes to an hour.
A lot can happen in a moment.
A lot can happen in 2 minutes.
Right.
But you're talking...
Right. And so that is the, I will go later into the importance of, say firearm ownership and training yourself in that way. But the home security is an alert. Number one is to keep criminals away, hopefully, to deter them. If they're not deterred and they do break in, then it is an added buffer of safety, because then at least the police are dispatched. At least they are on the way. You could still call them if you like. You don't necessarily have to. It's just, that's one less step you've got to take if you've got an intruder.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you're sirened, there's a siren, which we did buy a siren.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's so obnoxiously loud. What is it, 105 decibels or something? That hopefully that's enough to make most opportunists, unless someone is actually coming in to mean you harm. Like they're not coming to steal your TV. They're coming in because
they want to hurt you.
They want to hurt you,
yeah.
Or they want to make sure you're out of commission so they can do the things they want to do, or what they have that type of criminal intent. Now, I'm of the opinion that if someone is breaking into your home, you don't have time to interview them, so they're immediately a life-threatening threat.
Right.
Okay. They have to be addressed that way, because you don't have time to question them to find out whether they're there just to steal your DVD player.
What are your motives here?
Or they're there to hurt you. So I make the assumption that they are there to hurt me and the family as a man, and I am training myself accordingly to stop that threat. Right. But within that theory, if they're not there to hurt you and they are there to just steal your TV, then I would imagine that a loud, ridiculously loud siren and lights going on or off are going to make them want to go away because they don't want any trouble.
Right.
They're just looking for...
I would say generally speaking, yeah.
That would be my hope. And so I really liked Simply Safe's customer service, and they were offering this crazy Black Friday thing. So we're able to outfit our own home with the bottom floor. We have a lot of rooms, and our house is large because we have a large family. Mm-hmm. And so between all of the motion sensors and the cameras, we got multiple cameras on the way, and monitoring. We were like what, $280 for the whole system?
Yeah, it was basically $300 for the entire system, and then of course we got the high level of monitoring,
which
so
is $25
it'll be $25 a month. But right. $25 a month is very doable.
Right, and we're talking full monitoring, and really, we talk about a home invasion. If you're home, for me, I like it's more peace of mind for while I'm not home.
Right.
If I'm not, because while we were camping, they were in our home the entire time, almost for days.
At least 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Doing whatever they wanted while we were gone.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a cup of milk on the counter, and they were helping themselves to
food.
And
there was canned food
like
all
they were
over
basically like kind of had temporarily moved in while we were gone.
Right, squatting.
Yes.
Squatting while we were gone. And I want to know that if I'm not there, my neighbors now know, hey, Josh and Lee aren't home.
Right. And now that we have all their phone numbers, and so we've already made an agreement now that if somebody goes out of town, everybody else is going to know about it so they can keep their eyes open. So we've got that going as well. As the home security system. So if any of them hear a ridiculously loud siren going off at our house, they will know something is definitely wrong.
Right. Yeah. So home securities are awesome, and they're affordable. I would consider that affordable even for people on a budget. Our other friends, they have a home. They needed a smaller package, right? So they bought this similar but smaller custom. What's cool is with Simply Safe and online Amazon, that you can literally custom tailor each, each individual component to where you do and don't want. And they spent all of $160 for their whole house.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I would consider that.
That's a great deal. I mean, it really is. Now, of course, these were Black Friday deals.
Yes, they were offering.
It was 50% off.
50% off, right.
So you would just double that. But still, even doubling it is
they spent
not
$350, doubled for their whole home. Mm-hmm. Custom tailored to what they want. And
and I think they have is it like 1,900 square feet?
Theirs?
Yeah.
It's less than 2,000.
So that's a pretty, that's not a large home, but I would say that's about average. A medium size.
Yeah.
So it's,
for sure.
Just to give a point of reference.
And their home is a single story.
Yes.
Ours is 2-story. We are basically focused on the bottom story.
Right, because our house is flat all the way around. It would be really difficult for somebody to break in through upper windows. Right. I mean, like really difficult.
Yeah, like they have ladders and stuff, right?
But we did choose the panic button option that's upstairs. So if we happen to be upstairs and we hear something's going on downstairs, or we recognize, oh my gosh, I think somebody's in the house, all we have to do is hit that panic button upstairs, and it's going to set the whole system off.
Right, and that's twofold. Number one, that's to scare off the criminals. Number two, I plan on putting together a drill, a system in place so that if that does go off, what the rest of the family needs to do, how they need to respond.
Right.
And so that means, hey, we've got a problem. I want you to get out of bed, and I want you to do this, and this to keep everybody safe. Right. And so we're going to go over and we're going to do that. So it's important to do that as well. That goes back to our practice as if.
Practice as if.
Aphorism. We like to have systems in place because, and some people might say, well, that's part of you being paranoid, and I would say, no, that's part of us being prudent and learning how to manage the stress.
Reasonably prepared.
Yes, reasonable. By not practicing, you actually will set yourself up for failure because in an elevated, stressful situation, you will not know what to do. You will
panic. You will panic. You will not. Your mind starts shutting down, and you can't read well. You can't think well.
This is why people have fire drills for schools and at companies. This is why.
This is why people do drills.
Yes.
And this is because it just becomes force of habit, and the sound of that screaming siren going off, it's not so jarring.
Right. It's not
and
so
it's just like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is what we have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had a whole bunch of stuff in place, but we hadn't practiced our any drills. Let's say when we got evacuated, and we did not evacuate well.
No, we didn't evacuate well because I panicked.
Right.
And I wasn't
because I wasn't home.
I had a list of things that I had made up a list of if in case of evacuation, because
do this,
was
and this
in Northern California where there's wildfires. So in case of evacuation, do this, 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 and this. And I had it posted in a place that was easy to see. We had the things that we knew needed to go, but we had never actually drilled that process.
Right.
And so when the time came, oh my gosh, there's fire over there. I can see it coming this way. We need to get out. Your mind goes blank.
Yeah, and we had a friend come down to help, and very well-meaning, wanting to serve, wanting to help, but didn't have any understanding of our system that we had in place. So it's another important thing to go over with your friends and your community, what your system is.
Yeah, here's our system.
And then, when you guys packed up, when you ladies packed up, there was a bunch of stuff packed that was erroneous, didn't need to be there. I was confused when I finally got up to the house and, outran the sheriff to come and rescue you guys. Anyway, that's a whole different side tangent. But yeah, do the drills. If you're going to have an alarm, understand where it is and have a small system in place so that you can keep your family safe if there is a home invasion. Okay. And another part of that is own a dog. Own a dog. A lot of the criminals.
Obviously, don't get a dog if you're not a dog person.
If you're not, right. Well, I mean, yeah. Turn yourself into a dog person. That'd be my first advice, is to make sure you love dogs. No, I'm totally joking. But if you're a dog person, a dog is a great security. I am preferring, as I'm researching more and more and more and more, and how we've owned dogs in the past. We don't have a dog now, but man, our family wants dogs again. But, and that is a bigger dog with a bigger bark is a bigger deterrent, especially if you are not home. So having a dog, even if it's a small lap dog that does bark and knows how to bark, but is also trained to stop barking, while you're home is a good alert system.
Yes.
But those little dogs don't do anything when it comes to a criminal breaking into your home.
They might try. They might, but doing the research, they're like, small dogs, we don't care. We can put the small dog in a closet. We can literally, we can kick it. We can hurt it. Like, it's just a small dog. But a larger dog with a big bark that is even remotely looks like it's aggressive. Like, we perceive that it could be aggressive. Yeah. The whole movie thing where we put dog biscuits down, and it's like, we don't want to tangle with big dog, big bark. And if we can't see in your home and all we hear is a big bark, never mind, we're moving on. That's the general consensus among interviewed criminals. Now once again, opportunistic thieves.
So, but that being said, smaller dogs are great alarm systems for while you are home. It buys you time, it gives you understanding, wakes you up, and is another line of defense inside your home while you're not there. And I will say, like for us, our dog would have gone camping with us, so our dog would have done little. That
wouldn't have really worked in that situation.
Yeah. So if you're not home and you're going to the grocery store and stuff, yes, your dog's going to be protecting your home. But if your dog is part of the family, which ours would be, and ours usually are, our dogs would have gone camping with us anyway, and wouldn't have been here to bark.
Right. But we would have had the other measures.
Yeah. So typically, that's a buffer physically between you and a criminal. Is your pet, is your dog. Own a dog. Another part of being neighborly too is keep your lawn clean. Mow your lawn. Keep your shrubbery down so that it doesn't overgrow your windows.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Looking like someone is actively home all of the time.
And cares about their property.
Cares about their property.
Maintaining it.
Is a psychological deterrent. It
As
is.
opposed to, think about the opposite. A house that looks like half abandoned. You're never really sure if anybody's there. The yard's never mowed.
Yeah, that means other people
yeah.
around don't care about it either, seemingly. The neighbors, because
Yeah,
they don't
or
say
at
or do
least that's
anything.
the perception.
Bring your trash containers in and out. Don't just leave them out on the curb for a few days,
Right.
Bring them on, once the trash is done, bring them in. Upkeep your home
Yeah.
reasonably nice. And I'm not, saying that you've got to keep up with the Joneses or anything, but being neighborly and just giving the visual appearance of someone's home.
People
they're
are active. They're
Yep.
moving in and out. There's life and action going on. Yeah.
It is a psychological deterrent. So that's another thing. If you're going to go away on long trips, this is something I just learned, and it makes sense. I don't know why I never thought of it before, but if you're going to go away on a long trip, take anything that's super valuable to you and put it in the attic. Or put it in the basement. They didn't even go in our basement.
No, they didn't.
Right? And across the board of the I say across the board, it sounds like I've done this exhaustive thing. It's 5 or 6 different videos. And then, of course, some of the books I've read in the past. That, they're like, we're not going into your attic to look for stuff. We're rummaging through the places most people keep cash, in your drawers, in your jewelry box, in your gun cabinet, in your, in your bedroom. We're rifling through all of that stuff, and we're taking all of those valuables and we're rolling. If you've got a ring from your great-grandmother, like you had, that's valuable, and some cash, our cash box and things of that nature, then just open your attic door, put them up there, close it. If you're going to be gone for 4, 5, 6 days, probably not going to look up there for them.
Well, especially our attic, we do not have a door access. So in order to access our attic, you have to go get a ladder.
Yeah.
And you've got to want to go up there.
Right.
And
once again, and the basement,
generally speaking, there is nothing of value up there.
Yeah, and the basement is the door and stairs, but they never went down there. They never went down to the basement. Nothing.
I can't really blame them. It's kind of creepy.
It's old school because it's 100-year-old home. So you open the door to the basement and it's these gray, rickety stairs that go down and they turn
curve.
left.
Yeah, you're like, no thanks.
I know it's like something out of like Amityville horror type movie. You know what I'm saying? Something, but they didn't even go in the basement. So yeah, put valuables in a place where you wouldn't ordinarily store them or look for them. Another, as far as like. I heard another thing as far as that's concerned, say, is think about what you would do that's, not out of the order. Like if you're, well, how can I word this? Okay. One of the videos I watched was an ex-criminal turned security expert. And he was like, look, this is super duper practical. When you get home and you realize you accidentally lock yourself out of the house. We've locked ourselves out of it before. And you rifle through, and I'm like, I managed to get in through this one bathroom window. That's the same bathroom window a criminal's going to go, I wonder how I can get into this house.
Yeah.
If you're in your home and you're thinking, I wonder where I would keep cash. Where should I keep my cash? Well, that's where the criminal's going to go look for all your cash.
Yeah.
Right? So remove it from that basic area, put it somewhere else, like the attic that you don't think people store cash, and it'll be safer than in the top sock drawer in an envelope. Right. So it's that idea. Just think, hey, where should I store this? Is another place someone else is going to go, I wonder where they would keep blank.
Right.
And just think that way, and then remove it from that situation. So is another thing to do. I think there's still more I could unpack, but we're kind of going long. And I did want to give the importance of, I know that this isn't for everybody. I understand that this has stigma to it, which is fine. And that this is a challenging topic for people to talk about, especially in today's climate for the last several years. But that would be the importance of actual hard self-defense in your home if you have a home invasion. And that is,
or you need to train like Jason Bourne.
Yes. And that is owning firearms.
Which is what I would love to do.
Train like Jason Bourne. Yeah, well, Jason Bourne is badass with a firearm.
That's fine. But if I could stand at the top of the stairs and jump down on an intruder and knock them down unconscious in 3 seconds flat, that would be awesome.
Yeah. If is capitalized twice. If.
Right. Well, see, I'm not trained yet.
No.
I'm just not trained yet.
100 pounds.
I am 118 pounds.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
very
awesome.
much.
Okay, awesome.
Would you
200
want 118 pounds falling on your neck?
Oh, and
I don't think so.
for a moment, but I'd say 200-pound criminal is going to punch you once. All I'm saying is I understand you want to be Jason Bourne. I know. Trust me. And I'm going to have people, we're actually in the works, have people on the show who are self-defense experts. They teach self-defense, karate, military style that we're going to, I'll be doing videos on that. I'm doing all that in the works. But that it is the importance of defending yourself in your home from a life-threatening other person with use of firearm or less lethal, which is going to be taser or pepper spray. But then you're pepper spraying yourself if you're in a home, which
I'd rather taser.
Yeah, I would rather.
I mean, well, I'm just saying of the non-lethal.
Oh, the non-lethal, yeah. Now you can get non-lethal things for your, like say, shotgun that make bean bags and things like that. They make rounds like that. But I'm not gonna. This isn't an exhaustive thing, but on firearms. But this is just to open the door that it can be and is wise to protect yourself with use of firearm. In our country, the United States, it's still constitutionally protected right to defend yourself. And so on purpose, and so educate yourself, find a good firearm shop that you like going to and you actually feel comfortable being in, that they're good ambassadors for firearm ownership. And
if you go into a firearm store and they treat you
like you're an idiot, just walk out.
I would leave.
Just walk out.
Because that is not good firearm store.
No,
person.
I'm tired of elitist gun owners. I'm tired of it.
No. Find someone who likes educating.
Yes. And who is an ambassador. I'm calling them good ambassadors who make you feel comfortable, who are wanting to educate you, who aren't wanting to just preach at you. Okay. They are good. In fact, I know lots of people in today's world who are actually like, I never thought I'd want to own a gun, but I'm thinking about owning a gun. What do I do? So I'm having to walk through the process of, okay, it's not just a one-time event. It's not just like you go buy it and then you have it. No, it's a process. Firearm ownership is a process. It's a stewardship. It's something that is to be taken seriously, and to educate yourself seriously. On and continually educating yourself on so that you can be safe and know it. In and of itself, it's just an inert object, but in the hands of, depending on who's wielding it, that's when it becomes dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. So I do want you to educate yourself. But, hey, I want that I've heard it said this, and I agree with this, that a firearm is not a tool, it's a shield. It's a protective buffering shield between you and someone that means you harm. Well,
I don't know about you, but if I broke into somebody's house, all I would need to hear is the ch-ch of a shotgun, and I'd be out of there in a heartbeat.
It is theorized that just the sound of particular firearms are enough of a central nervous system fight or flight response. Yeah,
I'm out of here.
They're gonna roll. And I know that this isn't in the media. They don't like to talk about this. I know that this isn't the narrative, but there are a lot of statistics, which you can use statistics anyway. But there are a lot of statistics that just the presence of a concealed firearm or a firearm in the home, just the presence of it doesn't have to be shot, is enough of a deterrent to make people leave. Contrary to the popular belief right now that's propagated in the media that it over elevates to a more dangerous place and you're forced to use it, just the simple brandishing of it or seeing it is enough of a psychological deterrent to make people want to leave, generally speaking. And where there's the firearm present, actually less people get shot. It's a strange oxymoron for some people, and I can dive into that more. But that is a phenomenon that does happen, but isn't talked about in the media. Anyway, all that to say, find a firearms place that you get some training, learn how to educate yourself on what it is you'd want to own and what specific use. I mean, there are different firearms, different uses. Some are for hunting, some are for personal defense, some are multi-purpose, things of that nature. And go through the process of understanding firearm safety, how to shoot it, and how to protect yourself. And in case this is the extreme, home security. This is the last line of extreme defense for sure. But that is the process of educating yourself and owning a firearm is an important and I would say empowering thing that you can do to keep your home and your family and other people secure, your neighbors,
Sure.
And so I'll kind of, end on that as far as, because it's kind of the crescendo. That'd be another expense that isn't within the $500 I talked about earlier. But, changing the screws out on your door, even our security system that we've purchased, buying some security lights, buying some signs, maintaining your home, being a good neighbor, just double checking, making sure things are locked, being pragmatic in that way. They're cheap, and it's amazing to talk about in almost 2021 and 2020 that, 10 years ago, if I'd have said, hey, I want to buy a home security system for our home, it would have been undoable. We're talking
too much.
thousands
we
of
wouldn't have
bucks,
been able to afford it.
$100 a month. Now, like I said, 20, and they've got a $15 a month plan, Simply Safe. And there's other companies that are competing with them. I just particularly liked the deal they were running for Black Friday, so we jumped on it. And now we're going to have motion sensors and all kinds of cool stuff in our home, monitoring, video cameras that we can see on our phone. Now we know our neighbors. I've gotten their number. We're saying hi to each other. We smile, and we have an understanding of one another now. And they've all said, hey, when you go away on a long trip, let us know. We'll make sure we keep an eye out. I said,
and
ditto.
vice versa.
Ditto.
Yep.
So they come back, hey, we're going to be gone for the weekend. Awesome, great to know. We'll make sure to keep an eye on the place, and we can come to each other's aid if someone has a problem, medical problem, things of that nature. If you know your neighbors, but if you don't, you can't do that. So hopefully these help. Once again, I want to say thank you for listening. Hopefully you got some insight into this. If there's anything else that we've missed or things that you do in your area or in your home, man, please leave them in the comments. It's all good information for us to have in the community.
We're still learning. We're still educating ourselves on
for sure.
More on all of these.
On any of this stuff.
Things. One day I will be John Wick.
There you go.
Just not yet.
Right on. You can check us out on Facebook at Reasonably Prepared Facebook group. It's under Josh Sparrow, Reasonably Prepared. I actually found out there was another one somewhere in England or something, but I've been running with this brand for quite a while, but check me out. Check us out on Facebook. I'll put the link in the description below. reasonablyprepared.com for our merch. I'm trying to get the website up and running. We're going to have our own full website with different things, different ways to interact. I'm wanting to put together some giveaways and all kinds of cool stuff. But until then, hopefully these podcasts help and the YouTube channel is helping. And go back and listen to the Mental Fortitude podcast we did, and even check out the Reolink review that I did with a friend. And I'm going to be coming out with a review and unboxing of our Simply Safe system that we've purchased.
Yes.
Which
absolutely.
I'm excited about that as well. So
me too.
Be blessed all. God bless. Be safe. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.